Begin by unplugging both of the connections into the back of the display. Use a 3mm hex wrench to loosen the locking collar on the left-hand grip. Remove the grip completely. Use a 3mm hex wrench to loosen the clamp bolt on the thumb throttle. Remove the throttle. Loosen the display clamp bolt using a 2mm hex wrench. Open the clamp and remove the display. Loosen each of the front brake lever clamp bolts using a 4mm hex wrench. Once they are loose, slide the brake lever off of the end of the handlebar. Repeat the same steps for removing the right side grip and the rear brake lever. Use a 5mm hex wrench to loosen the shifter clamp bolt and slide it off as well. Loosen and remove the 4 stem faceplate clamp bolts using a 5mm hex wrench. Remove the faceplate and then remove the handlebar. Swap the handlebar. Position the handlebar into the center of the stem. Hold the faceplate in place and replace the stem clamp bolts by hand. Use a 5mm hex wrench to thread each of the stem bolts in place. Be sure to tighten them evenly, keeping an even gap on all sides of the clamping area. Once the bolts are barely snug, position the handlebar to the desired angle. We recommend aligning the handlebar angle parallel to the angle of the fork when the bike is viewed from the side. Secure the handlebar in place by tightening the stem bolts in an X pattern until all 4 bolts are evenly snug. Torque the stem clamp bolts 12 to 15 Nm. On the right side of the handlebar, slide on the shifter, rear brake lever, and the right side grip in that order. Install the bar end after the grip. Position the rear brake lever to the desired angle. Snug the clamp bolts in place using a 4mm hex wrench and keep an even gap on the top and bottom of the clamp. Position the shifter to the desired position and snug the clamp in place using a 5mm hex wrench. With the right side grip in a comfortable position, snug the grip locking collar in place using a 3mm hex wrench until the grip can no longer be twisted on the handlebar. Move to the left side of the handlebar. First, slide on the front brake lever followed by the left side grip and then press in the bar end. With the left side grip positioned the same as the right, Snug the bolt on the locking collar in place using a 3mm hex wrench until the grip is secured in place. Replace the throttle between the grip and the front brake lever. Reinstall the throttle clamp bolt and carefully snug it in place using a 3mm hex wrench until it is secure. Match the angle of the rear brake lever to the front brake lever. Snug the clamp bolts in place using a 4mm hex wrench and keep an even gap on the top and bottom of the clamp. Replace the display, positioning the clamp on the inside of the front brake lever. Replace the clamping bolt and snug it in place using a 2mm hex wrench. Plug the throttle and the harness back into the display by pairing the colors, aligning the arrows, and firmly pressing the plugs back in place until secure. Test the display for proper function.